One of the most overlooked passages in Scripture reveals something concerning about worship today. And let's be clear and define our terms. Worship isn't just about praise and songs. It's also about alignment and obedience. This is going to be a heavy one, so buckle up. In Isaiah 14, verses 13 through 14, our adversary, Satan, declares his ambition. He says, "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim, God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. I will be like the Most High." What many readers miss is that the phrase translated mount of the congregation comes from the Hebrew word moed, the same word used throughout Scripture for the appointed times of Yahuwah. That is the word being used, is appointed times. The appointed times between the Creator and his people. We have to understand that Scripture is the truth. Okay? The adversary isn't just trying to oppose God. He is trying to sit in the place where God meets with his people. He is not claiming God's throne because that position is inaccessible to him. He wants to steal the place that Yahuwah designed for worship, redirecting our worship to himself. This is how he exalts himself, not by ruling, but by misdirecting praise and worship that belongs to the Most High alone. Through deception and counterfeit worship, through all of these worldly holidays, these counterfeit appointed times, he seeks to redirect our hearts, our devotion, and our praise away from the Most High. In essence, his ambition is to appear like the Most High by influencing the very rhythm and timing of our worship, not by sitting on the throne himself. He can't do that. This is the subtlety of his rebellion, and this is the reason understanding our Father's appointed times matters. Y'all, we've got to get this, no matter how uncomfortable it makes us feel. Because this battle is not only about your belief, it is about worship. The enemy's goal is to change the way we worship. By sitting on the mountain, mountains in Scripture are symbols of power. By sitting on the mountain of the appointed times, the place of meeting, the place of worship. Because remember, he wants to be like the Most High. And the only way that he can do it is by redirecting our worship. And what has the church done today? They keep Christmas and Easter and St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day and Halloween and all of these worldly holidays, and they teach you at the same time that the ones in Scripture aren't for you anymore. That is a lie of the enemy. That is demonic doctrine. And Scripture repeatedly warns us that worship can be redirected. In Daniel 7, verse 25, we're told that the opposing power would attempt to change times and laws. And when we honestly look at history, you can see that many believers today follow a completely different rhythm of worship than the one laid out in our Bibles. And I say this with compassion because that was me too. That was me too. The Bible gives us appointed times of worship, the Moedim, but much of the world follows holidays and traditions that developed centuries later. And even some of these holidays have been assigned Christian, yet completely unbiblical meanings. Even our modern calendar system, the Gregorian calendar, organizes time in ways that are very different from the biblical calendar described in Scripture. This doesn't mean that every person who participates in modern traditions is doing so with wrong intentions. Many believers are simply following what they've been taught, following what they've been told by church leaders. But Scripture encourages us to test everything. In Mark chapter 7, verse 8 and 9, the Messiah warns about a danger that can creep into worship. Laying aside the commandment of God, you hold to the tradition of men. It's not about condemning people. It's about discernment. It's about aligning our heart and our worship with the one who created us for that very purpose, because he loves his creation. And if the Creator established specific appointed times for worship, and if Scripture warns that opposing powers would attempt to change that, attempt to change times, then it becomes important for believers to ask a very simple but important question. Are we aligning our worship with the times our Creator established, or with traditions that developed later? The Moedim remind us that the Creator didn't just reveal his will through commandments. He revealed it through time itself. He established time, and rediscovering those appointed times can help believers return to the rhythm of worship that Scripture originally described. Because in the end, the real issue has always been the same. Who determines the times of worship? God or man?